Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hello. Hi, Neelay.
Hi, Rachel. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I am glad it is the end of the day and I get to do some relaxing beading with you guys. That's exciting
I know.
for
I'm glad we get to
me.
end the day with some creativity, some making. So it's a good way to end the day.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think it's very underrated and I think it's a great way to decompress, hang out with our friends out there in the bead world and teach them something
Mhm.
either new or just perfecting their technique on how to make some of this stuff. But I'm pretty pumped about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for joining us live, and folks who are watching on the replay, hello. Today, I am Rachel from Sam's Bead Shop, and I'm here with the amazing Neelay from SilverSilk, and we are here to give you some inspiration with the April Sam's Bead Box. So, the April box was our collab with Rachel Malice, and it was all about diving into the world of Alice in Wonderland. It was the Wonderland box, and we tried to create that little bit of that kind of moody, mysterious feel that Alice in Wonderland has. What did you think of the beads when you opened up your package?
It was definitely that. I was very surprised because I think when folks tend to think about some of these types of themes, it's more light, it's more
Mm-hmm.
like these florally big colors sort of thing, and then you guys went sort of that dark tone, and I was very appreciative of that. Just those colors are easy to work with, first of all, and then just I don't know, it kind of brings me back to some of the darker themed movies that I've seen that are
Yeah,
these fairy tales, but I've always gravitated towards those. So I think
yeah.
you guys hit the nail on the head, and the components are just awesome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. I love that. I mean, this is Rachel Malice just had just incredible inspiration and vision for this box, and I love that she just it was a really strong just point of view, and I'm glad that we kind of did the unexpected, especially at this time of year. We really want to surprise people, so I think we did that.
You guys keep people on their toes, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Well, today we're here to spotlight that every month we get to work with Neelay to come up with our own little mini collection of custom silver silk. So usually we pick out some flat mesh and some pipe chain, and we think what color combos are going to be unique and special and help you start making with the box. So today you're going to play around with the pipe chain, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of my favorite products that's new to the SilverSilk line. Well, maybe not new anymore. It's been out for a year, but it's the newest from the different offerings. And I love that we get to collaborate on that one, especially because it's such a product that's close to my heart since I was developing it there and then it
Yeah.
became a product. But you guys carry and combine a lot of colors that I don't, and so I think that just makes this creative process really unique. And because it is tailored with the boxes, it's a great like initial start to the creation process for trying to figure out what the beads can do, what they can pair with, how to elevate the design into something else. And I think that's sort of hopefully what my accomplished goal will be at the end of this video
Yeah.
for this tutorial.
Cool. Well, I think we should start making. So, do you want to flip your camera around and
Yeah, just give me
we'll
a
you'll
second
show off what
here.
we're gonna make today?
Yes, definitely.
Sweet.
All right. Some squeaky doors back there.
We got a busy office here.
Right on. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Um, so what we're gonna do today is make these really cool little beaded scallops. And this is great for a number of reasons. I think because the beads that you guys include in the box they have quite a range of variety. And it doesn't even have to work with this box specifically. It can work with some of the past boxes too, if the bead sizes are around the same size in diameter. But I like this because it kind of just resembles, for me, motifs that were found in Alice in Wonderland, like sort of the scallop collars and I don't know, trying to bring those to life. So the technique is quite easy also to produce. And so we're just gonna kind of go over a scallop in detail, and then it's basically just a repetition from there.
Cool. Well, I just love that this it's such a statement piece with this technique. Like it's a really bold design that I think is really cool. So I'm excited to see how it comes together.
Yeah, definitely. And for those of us that are new to SilverSilk, this is the pipe chain that Rachel mentioned earlier, and it's my product. So it's essentially a silicone tubing that has a knitted wire woven over it. It's got a 1 millimeter, give or take. I think it's actually 1.5 millimeter hollow tube, or a hole rather, not a hollow tube. The tube actually is about 2.5 millimeters, but it's got a 1.5 millimeter hole in it, so you could fill it with just about anything that's a stringing material, whether it's leather cord that's 1 millimeter, beading wire, stringing wire, craft wire works well with this. So there's a number of ways to stuff it and to manipulate it to your liking. In this case, we're just creating a necklace with it and using it as a necklace rope. So I'll give you some tips on how to end it, but really I wanted to focus on the scallop because you can find a number of ways to end it over on both of our YouTube channels that use pipe chain in our projects. So I would recommend checking out how to end pipe chain on those channels and subscribing if you love the content there. But on to the scallops. So the materials, let's go over that first, or actually the tools. Let's do the tools first. You just need a pair of cutters. You will need some chain nose pliers. I'm gonna use my bent chain nose pliers for this. And then I don't think you need round nose pliers. I think these are really the only two tools that you'll need. So another advantage to this project, right? You don't need very many tools. As far as materials go, I have got some 26 gauge wire in silver. And for each scallop, you need about 14 inches to 18 inches. And it's just good to have a little extra to work with because you just never know, right? And if you get a little bit bead crazy and want to add on more beads, you have the extra wire to do it. Otherwise, you can just end it on the 3 tiers like I did here. So I've got that out. And then I've got some beads I'm gonna work with here. So we've got our 3 millimeter, I believe these are the round onyx beads, but I've got my list
we've got
here.
the black onyx.
Yeah, these are gorgeous. Whoops. They're almost like round seed beads, which is really great to have that nice variety. I've got 2 of these guys. These are the Czech Glass Druks in the sort of red and black color combo. I'm gonna have 2 of those out to the side. We're gonna be using one of these. These are the pumpkin glass beads in 12 millimeter.
Well, they just look like a little pumpkin.
They do. They are adorable.
They're fun.
Super cool. And I love it also because it doesn't have to be a pumpkin necessarily. It can be sort of a Art Deco glass, I don't know, centerpiece or something. But I love the color on them too, especially the black and gold. Just do it for me. And then you'll need 6 of these Dragon Blood Jasper rounds, and these are 10 millimeter size. I think I'm gonna spill some out here. Later, I'm gonna show you a couple outtakes from this project gallery because I started working on some other designs, and then of course I got distracted with something else and never finished it. But I have 2 other projects set aside that I could probably talk my way through.
Oh, cool. Okay, we'll get a little behind the scenes at the end. I love that.
Exactly. And then for that last row, you'll just need another about like 23 of these the 3 millimeter onyx beads. So I've got those sort of already pre-strung, probably how it came in the kit. And I don't want to take them off and individually string them on later. So I'm just going to leave it kind of strung on there. But I've got my little tray there. So let's go ahead and get our wire wraps started. I am going to measure out about an inch out into my wire. Now, the reason for that is that I'm going to start from the middle and then work my way out. So I would just measure. I'm going to use my handy dandy little bead board here and cheat. So I'm going to do an inch out, and I'm going to start my wire wrapping there. In fact, probably an inch and a quarter. In fact, I'm just going to go up a little bit because we got to make about 7 wraps, 7 coils right next to each other. And I really like to use my wire up to the end. And if you don't coil on super tight and you're off just by a little bit, you can actually move it around on the cording itself before you do all the scallops. I like to make sure I give that tip away because I know that sometimes measuring is a little unpredictable on some of this stuff. And so it's nice to have that versatility built in. That way you can fix your beads as you're going. So again, I'm just going to do about 7 loops, 7 coils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm accounting for the width of the beads, which you'll see here shortly what I'm talking about. Okay, just gonna give that a little press. So now I can string on my center teardrop there, or I guess just have my first layer. I don't know what to call this. My first beaded section. Find my terminology here. Okay, so I'm going to do a round Druk. I'm going to do a Onyx. Ooh, almost lost it there. A pumpkin bead. Another Onyx. And another Czech Glass. And what I can do now is kind of just create a little half circle right onto the pipe chain. I'm going to kind of scooch this down close together so that it becomes nice and plump. And I'm going to go ahead and coil out from there. And I'm going to do 7 again just to keep numbers even. And so once I take my fingers away, you really see what I'm doing. You can see that I've coiled in, created my loop, and coiled out. Okay, again, you can always, if you feel like you're kind of closing in on that space, go ahead and just kind of move some of this stuff around to give yourself a little extra space. It's possible until really the end when you go to tighten stuff and you know you have it in place. It's all quite movable from there before then. Right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7, 7th one right there. You can also use your chain nose pliers to squish these coils together. I like to do that just to keep my work looking nice and neat. And I do this on both the front and the back side. Okay. And now what I can do is string on my, let's see, this was the Dragon Blood Jasper. I tell you, these have quite the name.
I know, it makes those like beads come to life. You're like, if you really think about the name.
I know, it kind of, but was there a dragon in Alice in Wonderland? I can't even remember now.
I don't think so, but there were so many mystical, magical creatures.
There really were. That's why I'm kind of thinking about it now. But the name's quite fitting for sure. It is definitely got that green and red vibe to it, so it's pretty special. Some of my beads are still kind of overlapping over here, which really just means when that happens is that I haven't coiled far enough away from the main tier there. So what I'm going to do is actually slide these to the very end. I'm just going to make myself a little knot so that the beads don't fall out. And I'm going to coil a couple more times just to give myself a little extra space. So 7 is a great starting number, but don't let that be the only number that you go with. Sometimes you have to make those adjustments on the fly to get it adjusted accordingly for the whole thing. Okay. Scooch this down. There we go. If your beads aren't quite lining up, it just means that your first tier there isn't close enough that you have it too far spread apart. So you could see that I'm sort of closing these in together a little bit better, and it seems to be fitting a lot better now. Okay, so now I'll just go through and whoops, drop my beads on the floor. I'm going to create about 7 more loops here to start with. The black onyx beads are a lot smaller, so I don't have to worry too much about getting a huge distance away from the green beads, from the dragon blood beads.
I love these tips about the spacing, because if someone's going to make this with different beads from the April box, or maybe they try this with a previous month's box, like this is how they can adjust it themselves. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. This can work with any size beads, really. It's just a matter of, what your preference is for layering. I like to start with big beads and then work out to a smaller bead. But that doesn't have to be that way. I mean, you can, as long as it's laying correctly, that's really the only trick.
That's a good design tip, though. Just like if someone's trying to come up with their own combo, I kind of like how the small beads give you that frame on the outside.
Yeah, that's I think why I picked them, is that they just had a very distinct frame. And also because they are just solid black, it does kind of reinforce that as well. So let's see here. I'm going to start stringing on my onyx. Now, since they were pre-strung, I just slipped them off right between my thumb and index finger, and then I could just simply slide them right onto the wire as such. Okay, here's what I'm doing. So don't work too hard to string. Just let it do it for you.
I love that little efficiency tip.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and these are kind of big enough. They're not as small as seed beads, of course, which we can either, go nuts with seed beads, or we can end up staying away from them because they're too small to work with.
Yeah, they'll drive us nuts. Yep.
It depends, and I think these are just so easy to string on, so that's what made it appealing. I do need to scooch this down a little bit to give myself a tad bit of space there. So I'm just going to kind of scooch this over to make room for my onyx beads there. And now I haven't an official measurement for these, which I know is going to drive some folks here real crazy. But what I do is I just tend to eyeball it. And if it fits the frame, then we're in really good shape, which I think that kind of does what I need it to. And I can always add on or subtract more, but I think I actually hit the number pretty good there. So here's the way to finish this, though. I'm not going to coil out because that's going to ruin the symmetry of my coiling. So what I'm going to actually do is coil it inside and work toward my dragon blood coil there.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, this way it just keeps all the wire work even. And it looks like it's a little more symmetrical on the actual scallop itself.
Yeah.
And I must have just cut exactly the amount of wire I needed.
Seriously. You're going to go right till the end.
All of it up, yeah. I'm going to grab my trusty pliers here to help me. I haven't had these bent chain nose pliers for a very long time yet, and they are something that I'm so sad I just now got because they are super handy. All right. I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, look at that. I already completed that.
I love that. In your mind, is 3 the perfect number? Would you do more? Like, how many do you imagine for this piece?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I would actually fill it up all the way. I think they're small enough to not be too over the top, but they are detailed and quite lovely. And I could imagine this under like a collar shirt so that the scallops kind of just disappear into the collar.
Yeah, I would wear this high up as a
Yes,
necklace for sure.
absolutely. But, three's not a bad place to stop either.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I know, yeah, what would you recommend? What are the options folks have at the end?
Yeah, what you can do is grab some of your favorite bead stringing wire and you could crimp the ends. Because there's a hole, you can, in fact, it gives you sort of an allowance to embellish, right? So if you want to grab some more beads from the box, you can crimp right onto it and kind of finish out the end that way. And if you wanted another option, you can pass craft wire through. The thing with craft wire is that it will be a little bit more stiff and not as fluid. And I'll demonstrate with this, but I would recommend 20 gauge craft wire. And you can just, string right through it until you get to the other side and then just do a little wire wrap action and
Cool.
call it good. So,
Awesome.
and you can use some of the SilverSilk crimps at the ends too. There's, I know you guys have tiara cast crimps as well in your store. Those would work on this because they just, you would squish this into the actual cap. I think I've got those somewhere, but I didn't have them set out, sadly.
Oh, I've only used our tiara cast crimp ends on the flat mesh. I have to test that out on the pipe chain too.
I would try it out and see because I know this is flexible enough to squish,
Yeah.
but I think you would have to open up the crimp a little bit to be able to successfully insert it into that. And before you show the folks what our collaboration was,
Sure.
Here's an outtake of an
Oh my
earring
gosh.
that I started and didn't get anywhere.
Oh I love this. Wait, you have to tell us a little bit of what's going on here.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. So I took here. In fact, I've got these things out already. So let's do a little impromptu action here.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. I've got this beautiful rose. You have to tell me some information about it, though, because I'm
Sure.
not
Yeah,
sure
this is a Czech Glass rose focal from the box. We did it in some custom colors. We chose this deep red, and then did the black wash in the grooves.
Which I think I've got. Yeah, and then this was the
Yeah,
other
then we
one.
also did that one with the black and white. So that was fun picking out those combos.
So what I would do is if you're wanting to create this sort of round wrapped flat mesh fun business, grab yourself some 20 gauge craft wire. I'm using 26, sadly, because that's all I have at my table. But you're wanting to use a stiff, pretty good size wire for this. And all you do is you just take it right through the rows and you can just start to string right up through the flat mesh. And then you kind of have to work back and forth between your wire because when you wrap it around halfway, you want to see where it lands next to the hole of the bead. And then you just simply string right through it. And you kind of just keep doing this until, you want to stop. But I did 2 rows of it and then just did a simple loop on either end.
I love that.
It's so easy to do. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't finish it. Maybe I just I don't know what happened.
Oh, you got inspired by something else. I love that. We got a little bonus technique. Awesome. Oh, and what's this?
And I started this one too.
So many fun
This is what happens, Rachel. I get so much stuff at my table and then I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
But I had this beautiful donut that you guys sent over from the kit and then, started to do some seed beading. And then I was like, I don't know if people want to sew. So I just kind of didn't finish it.
Oh my God. No, this is great. This is just so much more inspiration. I love this. Thanks for sharing this.
Yeah. And I just used some colored thread, which I don't even add beads to the donut because it doesn't need it if you've got really pop out color thread here. In this case, it's gray to kind of help, not make it too over the top. But then you just do some seed beading on it and, make some tassels. It's pretty easy to get inspired.
Like we did a brick stitch there, which is, I think Rachel Malice also did a brick stitch on her donuts. That seems to be the theme. Everyone's trying that.
It's a good way to go. And you can pair either flat mesh with it, which I'm going to show the other one, even though I know you wanted to show the package.
Go ahead. You go ahead and I'll show it off as well.
Simon's usually like, do you have the ones on hand? And today I did. So,
you've got,
It's
There we
you
go.
could really just about do anything with this.
Well,
Which
here,
is
you pull
cool.
up our necklace that you made today. We have like now a little
Oh, sorry.
collection.
Yeah, like I've got a little
Perfect.
collection
There
ready
we
for the
go.
runway.
Oh, that's a whole mood. I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let me pull
Man.
up mine as well now. Let's
Ooh.
see. I just wanted to give everyone a close up of our custom SilverSilk. So this was designed to go with the April Sam's Bead Box Wonderland. We still have a few more of these in the shop. So if you head to samsbeadshop.com and go to and check out our past boxes, you can actually grab the whole box. And then you might want to get some of the SilverSilk that matches. So we did 2 little bundles. They come in Nilay's fabulous packaging. I love your packaging, by the way.
No, thank you.
So you can either get excuse me, the pipe chain collection. So you get 2 colors. We like to, when we can't, well, we mix it up. Sometimes we like to do 2, sometimes 1. We give you more of one color. For this, we went with a combo. So you get the black and the silver wire on top. So that's what Nilay used in his design today. And then we also went for this red. So the red that Nilay has in his shop is, I think, a little bit brighter. And so what we did is we took the same tube that you used, but then we put on a darker red tone. And I like how this just gives it a little more of a muted look to it, which I thought paired well with the box.
Yeah, it's definitely more moody, which I think is the theme.
That's the feel, exactly.
I love it.
So you get 1.5 foot of 1.5 foot of each of those in this pack. And then the other one is the flat mesh pack, which you'll definitely want to pick up if you want to make those amazing rose earrings. So you get 2.5 feet. And what are these 2 colors?
So you've got green and then you've got dark rose.
Yes. Oh, I love that red color. It's so nice. Yeah, and it's the
Got
same
all
one
that drama
on the pipe chain. So they do
It's
tie in
so
together.
funny how transformational it is because it's got that highlight of that red tubing underneath, but it's the same exact wire. Just whenever you mesh the wire together, it just makes this beautiful dark burgundy color.
Yeah.
By
So
itself.
this is the flat mesh. It's like a wire ribbon that has really great movement to it. And we've got a bunch of tutorials on our YouTube channel and on Nilay's if you want to get more ideas for how to use this. So that's what we came up with this month. Let me flip this around. Let's see. Let me turn my camera around.
Oh, my hair is doing some beautiful things today. It does not do this for me.
There we go. We're back to our faces. All right. Well, thank you all for joining for our mini class. I feel like we packed a lot into this half an hour. A few different techniques. So thank you so much.
There's a lot of versatility and fun that can be had with this one thing. And then just the end was sort of impromptu, but it might inspire some fun designs with those larger coin beads for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nilay, for working with us on this collab every month and for sharing all this inspiration. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Don't forget to head to samsbeadshop.com if you want to pick up any of the custom SilverSilk. And we'll see you in our next class. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.